Drum roll.
Survey says 81,129 at this current date and time. And that
That's a
does,
ton of homeowners.
yeah, well, here's the thing. You can guarantee they all got a wireless phone number. Some of them have the email, some don't, but I don't care about the emails. I mean, email campaigns are good, but not for this, not for what you're doing. I mean, if you want the emails, then go back and filter it and it'll give you whatever you get. But this is the gold. The gold is the phone number. And again, if we've got it, you're gonna get it. The person's age, median income, all that's there. I mean, like that's the kind of data I've always wanted when I've assessed price of the home, especially if like the guy I worked with, nothing we couldn't send him an appointment of anything that was under $500,000 value home in Dallas. They had to be within the storm swath on hail trace, and then they had to meet a bunch of other little, a lot of boxes to check, man. But if they met it, it was a good appointment. It was worth a lot of money
I
to
like
him
it.
and to me. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it works, man. And look, I would. I mean, like after 6, 7 months, like I'm re-downloading the same areas over and over again because I know Brian and the team are updating the records. They're always updating the records because, like, maybe Anthony and Maria changed their address, or maybe Anthony and Maria changed their phone number or something. Like I don't know, but I'd always download it. I would download it, and I would pull the old list off the dialer and push this in and just tell everybody it was fresh data. And it was fresh data, and it get put in, and that's what we're dialing off of.
Hey, Philip, how are you? What do you sell? Just shoot it in the chat if you want, or shout it out. It's been a roofing solar type of day.
Hmm.
Everyone works on roofs in this group, or works with people who works on roofs. Better than Medicare. Medicare is depressing.
Medicare. Never did that.
Another
Yeah,
list I'm
man.
interested in is business owners to do loans and stuff.
Hmm. So then that's very simple. So this is the cool part. This is where like dummy proof starts coming in because like me, like I had to hear Brian describe what he had the first time before this was even really laid out the way it was, and then it started clicking. I think that's how this was designed, was to make it able to where you can look at this menu and kind of put together a search. But like, so let's see, I'm going business, and he said businesses that I can what do a loan with. Is that what
Yeah,
you said?
just any business, like a
Yeah,
like a business owner.
yeah. Okay. So let's get that loaded. Boom. All right. So we're in business. Um, let's make sure we can talk to them, right? Let's get that going. And we can do the age, number of employees, we can do all that. But this was the cool part right here. This is this thing may seem like okay, no big deal. It's a question mark, but it's an added feature. Instead of you just having to know, well, what is it? NAICS code? Like I might not know that, or the guy who's first stumbling on here doesn't know what it is. Well, just to say it, every business is assigned a code. Who assigns these codes? Great question. Not me. It's a government entity somewhere. But every business, like for instance, agriculture or mining or utilities, they have a code, and it's just a way to identify businesses. So like let's do a search. Who would you want to? Who's your ideal candidate to give a loan to?
I would say HVAC contractors.
Okay. You go plumbing, heating. There you go. And we got, looks like we got 2 codes. So I'll grab, what are these subcodes? Oh, okay. So what I'll do is I'll grab, I wish I could plug them in here. That would be convenient. Nope. How do I do that, Brian? Is there like a cool, unique way to do that? Or do I just gotta 238-220, just, do I just gotta remember it and use my brain
So
power?
I do two things. So for Chris, I know you said the ads and targeted, so I will use common terms, lookalike audience. So what I typically do is I'll take those codes and I'll stick them in ChatGPT and say, hey, can you find me 30 similar businesses
Yeah.
to
Do
this?
you have a particular state you want to look in?
I do one by one first, so let's see what the results are. Because sometimes I mean, if, for instance, there might be 30 different types of roofing industry categories, and you may pick the one category that has 100 in the whole country. So that's why I do the lookalike thing because,
Okay.
and I would probably add more to that because 36,000.
Well, no, there's a bunch more codes. The point is you can come over here, you grab as many codes as you can. There's a ton of sub list as well. But
And I can actually, yeah, if you
there's a
type
bunch of different
contractors,
variations of that as well. Say
type
what?
in contractors, there's actually a subcategory with 400,000.
Exactly. See, that's what I'm saying. Like you got to know how to search the NAICS because you could be missing out on an audience. See, boom. I didn't get all this. What is it? Electrical.
Go to Avocadata actually, so they don't have to do this, is what I was trying to say. So if
I couldn't hear
there's a
you.
list
What?
that you need help building, go to the dashboard. So we have the ability to build the list for you. So Brian, just type in construction there. So we have these lists already filtered out for you. So if you just go click that specific list right there, you'll see real quickly that there's 350,000 of those in the whole country. So we did some of the work for you in advance. And if you,
372, 232.
yeah, and that's with cell phones.
See, that's what I was saying, Brian. Like showcasing the find your audience. Like this is what helps people. Like, cause like I wouldn't have done that. I would have been down here digging through the codes. So that's good to know.
Then I want you to find me. I want you to find me a list of 1099 workers, like barbers.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. So that's a good one. We actually had that semi recently, or someone was asking about it, but I didn't know. So we would come in here and we would be looking for, shoot, what was it? Was it miscellaneous or was it other?
Just look at just type in barber
Barber.
under like health or something, some weird category.
Well, right. Barber shops. What? That doesn't. A barber shop and a barber salon is not a barber.
No, no. So yeah, I mean, then again, you have to think a little bit. Like if you could look up that code 8121111, a barber shop doesn't have to be a physical store. It can be a 1099. I'm a barber as a licensed barber professional. Same thing with roofing contractors, electricians, where we're doctors, where typically the individual is the business. Entrepreneur.
I did not spell that right.
Not
There
a
we go.
category.
Is that not a category?
No,
I don't know. I mean, dude, I mean, some things you never know. I mean, there's literally a other. There's literally other. There you go. Gambling.
so I would say
So 1099. How's 1099 looked up?
I
Right.
said look up barber because a barber is a 1099. That's why.
Okay. What about like a salesman? Right. What else we got?
I got a question actually. I meant to
Yeah, go
ask it
ahead.
earlier. It was regarding the kind of gray area you were talking about with TCPA. So like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're kind of a small fry, like,
Yeah.
you know, you know what I mean? Like you're not a big,
Yeah.
huge call
Yeah.
center that's calling the leads.
Yeah.
Like
Hypothetically.
risk management wise, how would I be able to really understand the numbers behind that to kind of
Yeah.
calculate?
So, Brian, do you want to give the long answer or do you want me to give the short answer?
I'll give you the logical answer.
Oh,
So
okay.
you're a small fish. Small fish can mean two things. You don't have any money to your name, which means if anyone comes after you, they can't get anything. Or you're an established individual or company. Maybe you do $1 million in sales and you own a home, blah, 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 blah. You have high risk because you have stuff people can take from you. So, I mean, that's what I mean by risk management. Like, if you don't have, for instance, I didn't have anything to take 4 years ago. So my whole mindset was like, you know what? Sell,
Take
sell,
it.
sell. And
Yeah.
what's the
I'm
worst
for
that can happen? But the worst that can happen if you're already doing 10 million a year, there's a lot more downside in theory. So that's where I mean to manage and to evaluate. But we couldn't be the ones to tell you that. You would have to be able to
Yes.
do that yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Not financial advice.
Yeah, like we're not a financial advisor.
No,
However,
we're not lawyers. That's
we do
basically it.
sell data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think and
It's a ridiculous subject we have to dance around, but I think the answer is, like, do your homework, do the right thing, and yeah, just make sure you're making some money. Go make some
Mhm.
money. That's
Riley,
what
was it
we're worried about. We want you guys to find what you need. You guys know what doing the right thing is. That's like it's a common subject coming up just because it's like a concern. Everybody's got a concern with everything, but concern everywhere. Like I'm concerned when I buy a house, or if I bought a house, I'd be concerned of just with like what gas station to stop at. Should I get the cheapest one, or should I stop here? Should I stop there? Doesn't matter, man. Like you guys know what you can do and can't do, and I think there's enough resources out there to look around and get some private advice. Um, you know, what's that,
Mhm.
Chris?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize my thing was unmuted.
No, you're totally fine, man. But yeah, no, I mean, you should be good, man. You seem like a good guy.
well, I just want to say one thing too, that I forgot who said they generate appointments, but if you're really worried about the TCPA stuff, that is where we started this conversation. Was we're having an appointment marketplace that's coming up where there's people who want to accept all the risk. They don't care. They already have a business model of how to handle it with call centers overseas. So they were already live transfer companies, and litigation followed a live transfer in theory. So if someone in Pakistan or anywhere else in the world called someone for health insurance, and it was a lawyer on the other end, and you didn't make the call, but you received the call, you traditionally would be sued if that's what the litigator was trying to do with you. But a lot of these companies are transferring these live transfers to appointments because they're breaking that chain of compliance, basically. I mean, if someone hangs up the phone, the engagement's over. They got a call they didn't want. But if they come to the second part 3 days later, which was an appointment,
Oh,
they came there on their own. They weren't
yep.
legally solicited. They made the decision after the first part when they could have not made the second decision.
Right.
Sounds like a loophole.
Yeah.
Well, that's why the marketplace is a great thing, because it ties into that risk monetization where an appointment,
Well,
you might see appointments, I think, of $300, $400, $500 very soon for
so let's talk like numbers here. Like what date, when does that come out? Like when's that, like, because I've heard a lot about it. I just,
The first version is probably going to be beginning of June. The guy that supplies us all the 8 solar leads is who
okay.
I was going to work with first, because the system is going to eventually be like peer-to-peer like eBay, where there won't be like us, the central hub. But that's
Mm.
that's the direction.
What
Are
kind
we
of
gonna be
appointments would
doing-
they be?
Sorry, go ahead.
What kind of appointments would they be?
So the first two, it's actually interesting. It's all people in this group, solar and roofing. Would be the first two.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I was gonna ask, is that like virtual or
It's not, we're not the one
calls?
so keep in mind, we're setting it up as a marketplace where third
The
party.
majority of them are gonna be like in person, but I mean, there's vendors out there who do virtual and who do in person. and both will be available as long as the vendors are utilizing the platform. You
It's
know,
still
like
up in the air. It's still up in the air. Right now, it's a beta. Obviously, we have the suppliers that do it, but the hardest thing to do is
well, we want the
matching.
right suppliers up there, like the right vendors working up. You know?
What was that?
So I was saying that the appointments, right? We're not producing appointments and we're not selling them.
Hmm.
We've been in this central position for the last few years. We've found a lot of people that generate really good appointments. They might not make top dollar from them because they don't know how to market themselves or they don't have good clientele. But all those questions about local, this, that, the other, it's basically, I mean, I keep going back down to like economic definitions, but the fair market, if people come in and say, I want solar leads in Florida, there might be 10 vendors that do appointments in Texas and they're saturating the market in Texas. We're making it so every appointment that's purchased, there's a historical record. So if you're an appointment vendor in California, you might be able to see like, oh, damn, these guys in Florida are making 2 times as much on the appointments than California. I might reallocate some of my call center resources to book appointments in Florida. So all these questions are approaches. Find an economic way for it to get solved. You have a demand, you need a solar appointment in Detroit, Michigan. Well, it has to be economically feasible for someone to produce that solar appointment for you at some point if there's enough opportunity. Just like anything, but